This video is for those of you who want to see a full hoof trim where I explain what I'm doing as I'm trimming. I walk you through each step of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. This video is longer, so it's not really like a quick tip video, although there is lots of useful tips packed into there. But it took particularly long on this horse because of how long his feet were. His frogs had thrush, needed to be cleaned up and treated. His sole was sloughing on all 4 feet, and his bars were overgrown. So just overall took a really long time, almost twice as long as it usually takes me to trim, but there's a lot of good information in here, so I hope you find it helpful. So first I'm going to clean out the hoof here and slough off all this sole that is powdery, and I want to get down to the live sole underneath. I'm going to get this overgrown bar out of the way. I'll clean that up more later. I just want to finish cleaning up the sole. So I'm using a hoof pick. I could use my hoof knife as well, but I don't want to teach that because you can accidentally take too much. You can accidentally carve into a live sole. So if you're just learning to trim your horse's hooves, just using your hoof pick to clean up this dead sole is going to be a lot safer bet for you. So as you see, coming down, there's that live sole. And I'm going to use my hoof knife just a little bit so it doesn't take so long. But if you are just starting out, I would not recommend doing this. I just want to get this loose, powdery stuff off of here. Clean up these frogs. Finish getting this bar, clean out these little black pockets, help the bar stand up. Whoa, Duke. This, you want to take all this bar that's down close to the tip of the frog. You generally want the bar to go halfway down the frog. These little black pockets out. Cleaning out his central sulcus here. Hoof is pretty well cleaned up. I'm going to start on the heels and hoof wall. Moving my nipper blade half of the way over. Trying to take it down equal all the way around. Even in the winter, the hooves are pretty hard. This guy has pretty big feet too. I'm gonna give him a rest. I'm gonna check my balance. It's higher on this side, so I know I need to take more there. And there's this little point on the back of the heel, get that. Get my heels balanced. And I can do the rest. Now there is going to be some low spots here and here because the hoof chipped, and I can't take the whole hoof down to that height or it's going to make him sore. Little pocket there. Bring this toe back now. I'm also doing my Mustang roll. All the way around. Put a high spot right here still. Smooth these chips out so they're less likely to chip anymore. Put that bevel all around. Check again. Looking much better. Just want to bring that toe back a little bit more. Smooth it with my rasp. Doing not flat on top of the foot, not completely on the side. At an angle here to do that bevel. This bevel is going to prevent flaring, chipping, cracking, all of it. Looking good. We're even on the heels, even all the way around. Just have these low spots here where it was chipped. Now I'm going to finish that bevel, Mustang roll, and smooth everything out from the top. Bring these chips and flare in here to help it grow out. Use my smooth side of my rasp now. All right, check the bounce from the front. Oh, good boy, come on. Now I want to treat all this black gunky stuff in here. You can see his heels are a little bit narrow, slightly contracted, and I want to clear up all this bacteria and infection to help clear that up. Contracted heels are most commonly from thrush or shoes. Now this horse hasn't had shoes, so it must be from the thrush. All these black pockets I saw, I want to get in there. And I'm actually going to brush this out where he has some black gunk in his white line here. This is Artemud. It's a hoof clay that works great for thrush, cracks, any place infection can get into the hoof. Relax, good boy, Duke. All right, I'm gonna get this foot cleaned out, see what's going on underneath here. Definitely some thrushiness in here, a lot of sole that needs to slough out. This gunk in here we've got to treat, and the central sulcus. Now, as I said on the last hoof, if you are just learning to trim, don't use your hoof knife to get this powdery stuff off the sole, just use your hoof pick. But I've been doing this a while and it is a lot quicker this way, and I can tell when I'm getting to live sole or not. Now with your hoof pick, you're not going to be able to cut into live sole. So that's why I definitely encourage you to just use your hoof pick to scrape out any powdery or chalky sole that your horse has when you're first starting out, so you don't accidentally carve into the live sole. But it is important to get this chalky stuff out because it's going to show you where your true sole plane is, and you're going to need to know where to trim to. Clean up these collateral grooves. Clean this central sulcus here. Alright, I'm going to use my nippers here. Get that bar. That bar. Pockets here. I want to clean all this out because I'm going to treat it, and I want to actually get my hoof product on the hoof, not just on dirt or mud. That black gunk in there. All right. Now that that's done, I'm going to get to my hoof wall. Oop. Good boy. And I'm trimming here. I'm not trimming it as low as I'll take it. I'm gonna do the rest with my rasp. If I were to take it as low as I wanted with the nippers, it could accidentally take too much, or it could be a little uneven. I want to just basically, I'm rough cutting it with my nippers so that I can make it even and balanced with my hoof knife, or rasp, not hoof knife, all the way around. See, I'm just moving my nipper blade a half of the way over to keep for a cleaner cut. All the way around to the other heel. Check where I'm at. Right, little high here, little high here. Smooth everything out. Check again. Bring this toe back and do my bevel. So there, it might look like I am kind of cutting into the white line, which I know I say never to do, but if you see how stretched this white line is here, and there's these pockets, it's not really the true white line. The true white line is back by the sole. So that is something that does take a little more experience to know when it's a true white line or a false white line. So if you really are just starting out, just don't trim into the white line at all unless you're absolutely sure it's a false white line, if a professional has told you that. Trimming all this back. Good boy. Continuing to do my bevel and Mustang roll. Little high spot right there. Bring that toe back right there. All right. There we go. Last thing I'm going to do is clean up. Pull that gunk out. I'm gonna pull his foot forward. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm just going to use the fine side of my rasp to smooth out the bevel, make it look really nice from the outside. But I did most of what I need to do underneath. Oh. Oh. Get this other heel. Now I'm going to treat him. I'm going to get in here. Got the third foot here. Start by cleaning it out, as always. Want to get all the rocks and debris out, because if your tool hits a sharp rock like that, it's gonna dull your tool much faster than just trimming on hoof wood. So all this flaky hoof, this is where you could just use your hoof pick, especially this ultimate hoof pick was really strong, works great, but I'm gonna use my knife real quick just to get it done quicker. All those flakes, so you can see, clean it off, where you see it's cream colored and hard sole and not powdery anymore. That's the live sole. I'm gonna get all this. And his collateral grooves here. Pretty deep central sulcus. I have to treat this foot as well. Now I would not usually scrape out this white line area on a healthy horse, but there's all this black gunk, so I want to kind of get that off a little bit. And by cleaning out here at the heels, I'm seeing where his true heel is, how low I want to take his heel height, because I want to take the heel height down to the actual sole plane. This bar, pretty overgrown. This one's less overgrown. I'm still gonna shave it down, especially because you've got all these black lines. You get that? Clean out that. Get the bar kind of standing up. It was kind of spreading out into the sole there. I'm gonna get it back upright a little bit. powdery stuff. You can see underneath all this, he has really great concavity. If I were to put my rasp across, that's a great sole depth that he's got. That's something you definitely want to look for. Okay, back to cleaning up this. Standing up this bar again. Now it's still a little tall. Now, for this frog, I think I'm going to use my bonsai nippers. These are for bonsai trees, but I find they work really great on frogs when I feel like my nipper is going to not be precise enough and my hoof knife's not quite strong enough. So, get that out. My hoof knife. Now if this is a little more open, I can get in here better. Let's see. Looks like there's some kind of pocket right here. Use my brush to see how far I've gotten. Got horsehair everywhere. Last little flap right here. We don't want any of these flaps left because that's what the bacteria is going to get trapped under. Alright, as you can see, sometimes I spend more time just on the bars and frog than the whole foot. But here I am. I'm going to get this hoof wall done. And again, take less that I know I'm going to want to take because I want to finish off with my rasp. Now, the hooves are pretty soft right now, and I know I can be pretty precise with my cuts, so I was probably moving my nipper a little over than halfway. But again, if you're just starting out, really great to just move your nipper over part of the way because it's going to help your trim be more even, and it's going to see if I were to move my nipper all the way over, I could actually do it lower or higher, but if I'm staying on line with my last cut, it's going to keep it at the same height. Now I know I'm going to want to bring this toe back, so I'm going to rough cut my bevel here. Using my nippers at an angle now, so I'm not really taking any more height, I'm just taking, bringing the wall in. Good boy. Do that more precise. Trimming with my rasp. Check here, pretty even. Easy, good boy. Now that this heel is down, you can kind of there we go. Wanted to do a little more there. I'm gonna start my bevel now. So I'm not taking any more height down, but I'm bringing the wall in. This rasp is a little bit dull. That's why you see me switching to my fine side, because the fine side is actually sharper right now, just because I've used the other side so much. Easy. I've got a bit to take off there, so I'm going to use my nippers. Sometimes I like to start the bevel from the front, like that. If you have a horse that won't pull his foot forward, this is also the same way you can do the top dressing. Easy. Good boy. All right, I'm gonna pull his foot forward. Good boy. All right, brushing this gunk off as much as I can. And the collateral grooves don't really seem to have too much gunk in them, but I'm going to do this for good measure anyways. And again, this will prevent anything else from getting into this bacteria. It's going to protect it, disinfect it. And this clay will stay on probably for about a day. Like if I were to apply this tomorrow, you would still see the residue, which is why I love this product. Last foot here. I want to clean out all these rocks. This frog is probably the most overgrown out of all 4 of his feet. This foot might look like the longest too. So what I'm going to do here actually is just get this big flap off so I can see what's going on underneath. Same on this side. Got this bar at least roughly down. Right. Now that I can have access to the whole foot, get all this powdery stuff off the sole. Now you won't usually have to do this every time. Horses shed their sole usually about twice a year. Usually in the spring and the fall, I notice. Every horse is different though, and depending on your climate. This is a step you will probably not have to do all the time. And sometimes maybe just part of the sole will be ready to shed, and sometimes big chunks will come out. Right now this is just kind of a powdery top layer. Sometimes big chunks of sole will shed out, and that is okay as long as you're getting them out with your hoof pick. If you're prying them off with your hoof knife or with your nippers, that's a no-no. Don't ever do that. But if these chunks of sole are coming out just with your hoof pick, that's totally fine. They would come out on their own just as your horse is moving around the pasture. And if they won't come off with your hoof pick, maybe one big chunk comes out and the sole seems uneven to you, that's okay, because the rest will come out when the horse is ready to let it go. So, standing this bar up here. This bar looks like it chunked off, sloughed off. But I'm gonna get this top part angled right so that the rest can grow in. All right, find my true heel here. This bar can come down more. I'm gonna bring all that heel down to match it. Same right there, keep it growing up straight. Right here is an example of when the bar runs into the sole. I'm gonna stand it up. Clean up my collateral groove. Ooh. Get started on this hoof wall. Get a little more stability here. Find where I was cutting. There's my line. Coming all the way around. Here I'm kind of starting to angle my nippers, so I'm doing the roll and the height around the same time, just because I know there's so much hoof to take off here. Oh. Get this heel, give him a rest. I'm gonna see where my balance is at. All right, this heel's definitely higher. Check. Again, still a little bit higher. Getting closer. If you've got something that's uneven, you actually just want to do a little bit of time and check the balance. A few swipes and check your balance, because you could easily then make it lower. Pretty even. We got our high spot here. Still a little more on the heel here. Getting closer. I'm gonna do this bevel. Bring this whole toe back. I'm gonna do the rest with my rasp. This rasp is more dull than I would like it to be, but that's okay. He's holding on to this toe callus here of his sole, so it might seem like that's a little high, but he's not ready to let that go, so I'm not going to trim it down. That will just make him sore. Smoothing this out. As much as I can. Pull the foot forward. Good boy. I know this toe could come back a little more. Now, smooth with the fine side. All good. I'm going to treat the foot now. He's all done.